What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Critical Overlord here. We're going to be talking about The Strangers Chapter 2 in this video here today. This will be the spoiler-free review for The Strangers Chapter 2, which is directed by Renny Harlin, and it's co-written by our Allens once again, because I know they worked on the first film with Renny Harlin. It is starring Madeleine Petsch, Richard Brake, and Emma Hovarth, and several others, because these people just do not matter other than Richard Brake and Madeleine Petsch. But yeah, after learning that one of their victims, Maya, is still alive, the three masked maniacs return to finish the job. With nowhere to run and no one to trust, Maya soon finds herself in a brutal fight for survival against psychopaths who are more than willing to kill anyone who stands in their way. So, I have to say this. I am always going to appreciate Renny Harlin for Deep Blue Sea, and even that's not a masterpiece. But my God. Sir, what are we doing here? The Strangers Chapter 2 tried to improve on the shortcomings of an otherwise decent start to Renny Harlin's trilogy, and it instead cements itself as the worst entry in this franchise to date. Gorgeous aesthetics and Madeleine Petsch delivering a terrific performance aside, this sequel doesn't understand the genius of that original film from Brian Bertino. It does not understand why it is a classic. And I'm pretty certain the trilogy overall, once we're done with the third one, is going to cement itself as not understanding the point of that original film. Thanks to Chapter 2, I'd now like to return to a time where we all were begging for a sequel to that film from 2008, and just stay there. Just stay there, because what we're getting beyond Prey at Night is getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So Maya is recovering in the hospital immediately after the nightmare that unfolded in the last film for her and her now deceased fiance. This is cut short by Scarecrow and his two hags as they search the hospital for Maya as she tries to escape. From there, the film becomes one long, mostly dull chase drenched in stupid decision-making to set up the third and final chapter. You might be going, well, yeah, of course, it's a horror movie. Of course, dumb decisions are going to be made. But The Strangers Chapter 2 is an example of dumb decisions so baffling it takes you out of the experience. I recall the first film falling short by how Maya and her fiance always gaslit one another, and the fiance himself was always quite annoying, or they just had these bizarre explanations for one another as it pertained to what was happening to them. Here, Maya is determined to make you not root for her. And of course, Maya's all by herself, so as infuriating as she might have been a little bit in that first movie, she's just basically been magnified at how baffling her decisions can get. The two Allens responsible for this screenplay make her the most complex character in all the wrong ways. On one hand, I feel her pain and want her to live, but then she does silly things like discarding guns for Scarecrow to potentially shoot at her, making loud noises at inappropriate times, answering calls from unknown numbers and assuming it's her sister. I think that was her sister Debbie or something like that. Hopping into cars without checking who was at the wheel after everything she's been through. It's just a laundry list of bad decision making mixed in with some rather smart decisions, but outnumbered and outdone by the stupidity. When Maya isn't being hot and cold, we're cutting to these random flashbacks that overstate their welcome. These flashbacks unlock too many details about the strangers, making them as ordinary as the next average Joe, humanizing them and providing insight into who Tamara is. Yes, Harlin did tell us we'd explore the strangers, but execution is everything, like I always say on this channel. Chapter 2 destroys the mystique of these characters by creating a space for us as viewers to question their actions based on more than just why are they doing this. Now I'm wondering, well, what's wrong with them? How did they end up like this, etc.? Things that shouldn't be running through my mind. The film doesn't even waste time establishing the identity of one stranger before we even endure that solid hospital sequence at the start of the film. There are also some odd setups for scenes intended to build tension, but none beat this moment in the hospital when we hear Maya close every curtain she could possibly hide behind. We see it too. And then Scarecrow proceeds to enter the scene to open every curtain slowly as if she's going to pop up behind any of them. And then Maya herself appears in a position that doesn't make any sense for the sequence. Perfect case of putting the audience too far ahead of the characters, because it ruined any chance of building tension there and got me to fixate more so on the setup of it all and how it didn't make any sense. It also doesn't help when a formula for seeing the stranger stalk is repeated a bit too often, which also killed any chance of retaining or building suspense, but it does maximize boredom. The Strangers Chapter 2, I would say, was just seemingly hell-bent on remaining stagnant for over an hour, and then it finally progresses at the end because it remembered a third movie is coming, jumping from set piece to set piece until 15 minutes remain. And then it was like, oh wait, we actually have to progress and give some plot development here. Now, Madeline Pesh was incredible as Maya. As stupid as she could be, I sincerely felt the loss of her fiance. I felt her pain, her grief. She excelled at selling the terror of the situation. Her paranoid expressions definitely enhanced that tense car sequence showcased in the very first teaser. That sequence was brilliant. I think that was the best sequence in the film. Everyone else is suitable enough, but this was the Madeline Pesh highlight reel. I hope she is able to move on from this trilogy and star in a more memorable horror film someday, because of course I feel like this is going to be forgotten, or if it's remembered, it's just going to be remembered as a big pile of dog crap. The actors responsible for playing our strangers, despite the screenplay chipping away at their mystique, I'd say they did remain intimidating, none more than Scarecrow, of course. As I mentioned, the film has a gorgeous aesthetic. Montero's cinematography here is far more energetic this time around, especially during those hospital sequences. Again, the hospital sequence is the best thing in this film. Well, that and the car sequence. The car sequence is also very claustrophobic and definitely got you on the edge and kept you paranoid. There's an odd CGI choice that is so out of place involving a wild animal. This moment also goes on and on. Just when you think it's over, we have to sit there and watch this thing take its last breath. It's like, really? This is what we're doing right now in a Strangers movie? You know, and it starts off with you thinking it's one of the strangers attacking the vehicle she's hiding in. And then it's like, oh, it's this wild animal. Just a very odd choice, and the CGI definitely took me out of the experience. I would say this film is just a big turd. It has some redeeming qualities, but it's just not a very good movie. I would give this a solid 4.5 out of 10. The only redeeming qualities for me right now are Madeline Pesh and 2 sequences and the gorgeous aesthetic. The pacing isn't that bad. It's just the writing. The writing really bogs down this movie. The screenplay is atrocious. But you guys let me know what you think about all of this down in the comment section below. Are you looking forward to The Strangers Chapter 3? Let me know why or why not down in the comment section below. I will say that if you're someone who wants an exclusive first look at the film, you're probably going to want to stay till after the credits. That's just what I've heard. I did not stick around because I was that disgusted by what I had just watched and kindly would like to go wash my eyes out with whatever I can find to make me forget that I had to endure that movie tonight. But let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, of course, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Turn on post notification you never miss a video. In the description, I have links to all my social media accounts. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can message me there, of course. Let me know if there's any movies, news, or reviews you'd like me to cover in the future. And with all that in mind, guys, I will see you in the next video.